Hello friends, welcome to the prelims power play discussion of 10th of October 2022. Guys, in this video I will be discussing top 5 questions from the current affairs of 10th of October. Guys, you must have already read the daily prelims note of 10th of October. If you have not read the daily prelims notes of 10th of October, please go and read the daily prelims notes. Then you try to solve these questions along with the video. Okay guys, so let us see the first question. Sir, the first question which I have framed is on the issues of freebies. Guys, you must have been following the current affairs that freebies are in news. Recently, Election Commission has basically said that it might regulate the freebies by political parties. Okay, so in this context, there are various editorials are coming in this on this topic. Yesterday, there was a very important editorial on the issue of freebies, and I have framed even the prelims notes I have framed on this topic, and even I have framed a prelims question which I am going to solve now. Guys, the crux on which I have framed this question is, you can see in this editorial, the author has said that in 2013, this Supreme Court has went into this issue of freebies, and it has held that freebies are not illegal. They do not come under corrupt practices. They do not come under corrupt practices under the RPA Act, 1951 section 123. Okay, they do not come under it. Okay, so it is not illegal, first of all. And second, the author has also said that it is because of the directive principle of state policy, which basically motivates the state and government to take actions for the social welfare of the people. These freebies can be justified on that ground. These freebies can be justified on the grounds of directive principle of state policy. And here the author has mentioned Article 36 and Article 39. Article 36 basically encourages the state to bring a social order which is just social order, and Article 39 basically motivates the state to basically reduce the concentration of wealth and to promote common good. So in this context, let us try to see this question, guys. So the first question, let me read the first question. The first question is, consider the following regarding freebies. The first statement is, they come under the definition of corrupt practices. Section 123 of the RPA Act. Guys, this is incorrect. Just now I have said that it is basically not this is not corrupt practices under RPA Act. Supreme Court in the S. Balaji case has given this judgment. They can be justified on the basis of directive principle of state policy. Yes, because directive principle of state policy talks about what? Social democracy and economic democracy. Welfare state. It talks about welfare state. The third statement, RPA Act empowers the Election Commission to vet manifesto of political parties. This statement is incorrect, because RPA Act does not explicitly empower Election Commission to vet the manifesto of political parties. There is nothing in the election RPA Act which basically prohibits the political parties from giving freebies. So in this context, we can easily say that there is only statement 2 which is correct. So the answer will be 2 only. Answer will be 2 only. Let me see how many of you have got it correct. Please comment in the comment box. Let us read the next question. Let us read the next question, guys. So next question, let us try to solve the next question. Consider the following regarding directive principle of state policy. You see how I have linked question number 2 to question number 1. Question number 2 was on freebies, and I connected freebies to DPSP, and now I have framed a question to test your understanding of DPSP. So the first statement is, they are justiciable in the court of law. Guys, we all know that DPSPs are not justiciable in the court of law. Next, they envision social and economic democracy. Yes, they envision social and economic democracy. And they basically talk about welfare state. They talk about India being a welfare state. The third is, they are not important in the interpretation of the constitution. Guys, this is incorrect. They are also very important in the interpretation of the constitution, and in many cases the Supreme Court has said that both the fundamental right and DPSPs are very important for interpretation of the constitution, and both are like two wheels of the constitution. So we can easily say that the answer is 2 only. The answer is 2 only. 1 and third statement is incorrect, guys. So this is a very basic question on the polity concept, but you see how we have linked it to the freebies and we have framed this question. So you have to prepare like this. Not directly might be DPSP is not in news, but how DPSP is related to this freebies debate, and then you have to prepare DPSP. Okay, so this way you prepare, you will really clear the prelims examination easily. Okay, let's go to the next question, guys. The next question which I have framed is on the topic of basically UN peacekeeping. Yesterday there was a news item that fatalities among the UN peacekeeping forces are rising. So in this context, I have framed a question. Blue helmet recently in news refers to, so blue helmet, okay, refers to what? Can you answer, anyone? Okay, in the comment box, let me see how many of you are answering correctly. So blue helmet basically refers to United Nations military personnel. So it is not police personnel, it is not medical personnel, it is not water volunteer, it is basically military personnel. Okay, so answer is B. Okay, next, let us see next. Okay, so next question is again on the UN peacekeeping. Let us read the question, guys. Let us read the question. So consider the following regarding United Nations peacekeeping. Okay, first, every peacekeeping mission is authorized by the United Nations Security Council. Yes, this is a correct statement. Second, India has been part of all United Nations peacekeeping missions. Guys, here all is an extreme word. Okay, generally extreme words are incorrect. Okay, so this is incorrect. This is incorrect. India has participated only 49 out of 71 missions. 49 out of 71 missions. So this is incorrect. Okay, next, the third statement, the first UN peacekeeping mission is deployed in Korean War. Guys, this is also incorrect because first UN peacekeeping mission was basically deployed in 1948 in Israel. Okay, so guys, answer will be one only. Answer will be one only. Here also, first is an extreme word. First is an extreme word, and generally extreme words are incorrect. So we can eliminate 2 and 3 on the use of optional elimination technique also. However, okay, I'm not saying that every places it might not work. Okay, every places it might not work, because here you see every peacekeeping mission is authorized by UN Security Council. So this is a correct statement. This is a correct statement. But here also, guys, you can easily eliminate. Here also you can easily, because all these are extreme statements, and out of this, if you see, okay, it's saying correct answer. Okay, so at least either like one must be a correct statement. So obviously the UN peacekeeping, because it is the Security Council which is responsible for basically peace and security of the world, and most of the like the steps which are taken by UN, okay, and in basically conflict situation, they are basically mandated by UN Security Council. So mostly like statement 1 may be correct. Okay, you might think like this. So the answer is very easy. Answer is very easily, it can be derived. That answer is A, 1 only. Okay, so let us go further. Let us go further. Okay, so statement 2 is incorrect and statement 3 is incorrect, because it was in Israel and it was basically 49 out of 71. Okay, so this I have already explained. Let us read the last question. So last question I have framed on this editorial yesterday in the Hindu newspaper. Guys, recently, finance minister, okay, in a meeting on September 15 said that, okay, the basically the corporate sector, okay, must invest because there's a lot of opportunity in India, so they must invest in India. Guys, why she made this statement? Because in the last, okay, couple of years, you will see private investments in India have fallen down. Okay, and because of that, economic growth is not picking up. Economic growth is not picking up because private investments have fallen down. So in this context, I have prepared a very analytical question. You can see here, which of the following is the most appropriate? You see, most appropriate reason for low private investment in Indian economy. Okay, so the first is low interest rates. Okay, obviously low interest rate will not the answer, because low interest rate because basically will improve the money supply. Okay, so obviously this is not the answer. Okay, second is high taxation. Yes, high taxation can be, but in 2019 we have seen, in 2019 finance minister reduced the corporate tax. So obviously now India does not have very high taxation, so this cannot be the answer. Next is low demand, and D is high interest rates. Guys, high interest rates will also not be the answer, because during the COVID crisis interest rates were down, but then also we see that, okay, we have seen that, okay, the investment did not pick up. So it is not related to interest rates also. Basically it is the problem of low demand. Guys, if you critically analyze the economic problem or the slowdown in the Indian economy in the past 5 years, you will understand it is because of low demand. See guys, what happened during demonetization, and because of the GST implementation, what happened? Okay, the informal economy and the MSME sector. MSME sector was hit because of these two, and now after that came the COVID crisis, which also led to a lot of shutdowns in informal economy and MSME economy, because these sectors were badly impacted. And because of that, what happened, many people lost jobs, and because of loss of job, their incomes reduced. Because of their income reduced, obviously the demand will also fall. So the main problem in Indian economy is basically low demand. Okay, it is not interest rates, it is not taxation, it is basically low demand. If we will be able to increase demand, then we will be able to revive the economy, guys. So you see how I have framed questions, okay, which are very analytical as per the demand of the UPSC. As per the demand of the UPSC, I have picked questions from international relations, I have picked questions from economy, I have picked questions from polity. So guys, if you follow these prelims power play and read the DPN consistently, I can tell you from my experience of cracking the exam all 6 times, of experience of scoring one of the highest marks, I can tell you, if you study like this, no one can stop you from cracking the prelims examination. Guys, cracking the prelims examination is very vital. Guys, I can tell you, once you clear the prelims examination, your confidence level will basically shoot up. And this exam is all about confidence. Okay, generally I have seen many talented people who are working hard year after year, but they do not crack this exam and do not realize the dream of an IAS officer because they struggle in the prelim stage only. That is why I have been very particular in helping students as far as the prelims is concerned. And you see many questions every year coming from the prelims power play and the DPN. So I highly recommend every one of you to read the DPN daily, okay, and basically solve the prelims power play regularly. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Take care.